Luton Town are bottom of the Championship. And yes, this is the same Luton Town that was in the Premier League last year. The same Luton Town that led Manchester City 1-0 at half time, was also leading against Liverpool, and had many decent results. Or at least had near results. That was a more of the story. They had many almost nearly moments, but very rarely got there in the end. The only real big moment they had last year was beating Brighton 4-0 at home. But let's be honest here. Do Luton Town fans care? No, just to be there in the first place felt like they were living some kind of dreamland. The plan was very obvious from the start. They brought in a ton of players with the intent of there being a very good team if they were to go down, buying players that were already pretty decent level in the Championship, and if they were to go down, which was very likely in all honesty here, then they'll have a pretty good chance of building the foundations with the money that they gained from the Premier League to build on the future. That has not happened. Not only are Luton not in a promotion fight, Luton are not even in a playoff fight, Luton aren't even in a mid-table fight. Soon enough, they may not even be in a relegation fight. They'll be maybe already down. Now, if you support a team that's not in the Championship, this may be a lot of news for you right now, because maybe you saw Luton Town last year and thought, okay, I mean, they may not be the most technically gifted side, but they got some character, they got some promise, they got some personality. You know, they'll put 100% effort in, and that is kind of most of the battle in football, having a team ethic, a culture of the club. That goes a long way. Well, Rob Edwards is no longer there, not because he got took by a team, halfway through the year because he was doing so well, because he was doing so poor and was being very naive with the way that he tried to set up his team, which was not working time and time again. Robert Edwards parted ways with the club not too long ago, and since getting rid of Rob Edwards, brought a manager doing very well in a club in League One, which is Wycombe Wanderers, Matt Bloomfield, which to me when I saw that came across as sort of a backward step. Yes, he's a manager that has a bit of promise to him potentially, but you take a manager from the league below you and you should, in all intents and purposes, should be already looking to being put back up into the Premier League. Again, this could have proved to be a masterstroke. However, to bring in a manager with no Championship experience in their current predicament is what seems to me as a bit of wishful thinking. So comment down below your thoughts on Luton Town. If you're a Luton Town fan, where do you think it's gone wrong this season? Like, subscribe, and Mozilla Designs. For the best football prints, we've got tons of Luton Town prints as well. So go and check it out. Use code LTFC for 15% off all items. After a 2-1 loss away against QPR, Robert Edwards left the club, parted ways, and it was a very respectable ending, and it was a mutual respect between what he has done for the club. And because of the way Luton Town got promoted, coming from the non-league all the way to the Premier League, like Sophie Lockyer as well, with his heart problems in a playoff final, and I can see why many people just felt like they wanted him to do well. Dear God, they've not won in the last 10 games. The 20th of December was the last game, a 90th minute winner against Derby County by Morris, and ever since their new manager came in, Matt Bloomfield, they've not been particularly great either, with 5 games so far, with 2 draws and 3 losses. When you look at the team now, it looks like it's missing so many parts of what made it so good last year. In the last game against Sunderland away last night, they had Morris up top as a lone striker, which he has never been a lone striker, playing a 4-1-4-1 with Asgard, which he signed from Wigan Athletic from League One in January window. Milinek Ali signed from Exeter City from League One again. Their right back and left back has not played a total of 50 games in English football combined. The centre-back partnership has really never played with each other before, and a CDM from Sweden that has just signed and never played in England prior to this window. Add on top of that Zach Nelson, who is pretty much for the first time started playing senior football this season in consistent games. And what you're looking at are a team of players that are either inexperienced, or League One players, or simply are getting on in age. Now sprinkle on that a feeling of dejection from the fan base, and with this expectation to be doing better than what you really should be, yeah, this is a recipe for complete disaster. Luton right now are missing absolutely everything that they were a year ago, even with Morris still being there, Adebayo still being there, that of course made some moves in the Premier League last year, they are not even close to being the same players this campaign. And it's another example of simply how important momentum and confidence actually means for football clubs. I remember predicting, I think Luton, I thought this year would have been maybe, maybe in the playoff picture, but I don't think they would have made it in the end. I felt like the different perspective of now becoming the big team in the league that came down with the parachute payment money would play a big factor. So I thought trying to balance that, because they've spent the last near decade being the underdog, now they're no longer that, and I thought that may play a factor. I thought they may struggle to deal with it a little bit, but Christ almighty, no one thought they would be this bad. 24th, rock bottom, and it looks like they're going for back-to-back relegations. The old Luton Town are not there anymore. Speak to any fan, they'll tell you the same thing. And there's one other part of this that is interesting to me. And you may be saying, okay, well, they had all the money from Premier League that we always know is like important, got parachute payments, that's seen as a massive advantage. Well, what's happening with that? Well, of course, parachute payments, you don't get it all in one go. You get it after 3 years, and it kind of deduct slowly after year by year. So they don't get that full amount immediately. However, one part of this is that the club has seen fit to make improvements on their facilities, more specifically their stadium. And as of mid-December last year, they were given their official approval to build on this new stadium, their official planning approval to move forward for a 25,000 seater stadium. Now, a club we've heard a lot about their stadium is Everton Football Club in the last year or so, where a lot of money that would have typically gone towards transfers or gone towards, actual elements of the club here and now, has instead been put aside to focus on the development of a new stadium. And this is what is a main concern now, that it feels like the idea that they had a pretty good team to fight in a championship is completely underestimated, and now what they have is a team of, young players, inexperienced players at this level, or older, aging players. They don't have what it takes right now to fight, because they've got a very mismanaged team, and the money that they would have to improve their team is right now being conflicted in being put towards the development of a brand new stadium. Well, the stadium will be pretty useless if a 25,000 seater is put down in League 2. Clarify, this will be called the Paracourt Stadium and is intending to be released in the 2027-28 season, which is 3 years now. They did spend some money in the January window. Isaiah Jones from Middlesbrough, Asgard and Ali are both League 1 players at the current moment. In the summer window, they didn't spend too much. They spent a lot of money on Mark McGuinness from Cardiff City, a centre-half, which is, about 10 million, 9 million pounds, which is a lot of money, really, for Luton Town. Fan, a defensive midfielder from AIK, from Swedish division as well. A good piece of business seems to be Tom Kraus from Mainz, from the German division. That seemed like a decent piece of business, but not much else, as last year they spent about just over £20 million of fees. I can see them going down. However, the fight, which is the benefit to them, is very tight down there in terms of who could go down. Plymouth, they are currently in some decent form. However, very easily that can change. Derby County are now bringing in Eustace from Blackburn Rovers, that maybe they get a new bounce now as well. Realistically, anyone can go down in the bottom 7 of the championship. I think anyone south of Swansea can be going down this year. Comment down below your thoughts, and if you're a Luton Town fan, sorry, because to go from the Premier League now to this, and it almost feels like, this felt like your moment. This felt like your moment to really crack on, to build the foundations for the future. And in theory, that's the intent of the new stadium. But Christ, it will be quite pathetic to have a 25,000 seater stadium in League 1, League 2. The last thing you want is any comparisons to MK Dons. I hope you enjoy your day. See ya.